In this lesson, I'll show you how to use categories, and more specifically, the combination of categories, tags, and menus. Categories are used to sort and group content into different sections. If you're writing about a variety of topics, you can divide your website into sections using categories. Combining categories with menus is the best way to help your readers find all the amazing content that you've created. Let me show you a couple of examples. Here's one example. You can see the categories up here. Under each category, you can see blog posts. And here's another example of how categories can be shown with blog posts underneath them. Now, before I show you how to create and use these categories and menus on your WordPress website, let me provide a little more detail. In the WordPress nomenclature, both categories and tags are known as taxonomies. Their sole purpose is to sort your content to improve the usability of your site. That means when a user comes to your site, they can easily browse through your content by topic rather than browsing chronologically, which was how blogs were originally set up. Categories are meant for broad groupings of your posts. Think of these as general topics or even the table of contents of your site. Categories are there to help identify what your blog is really about. And you can arrange your categories in a hierarchy with subcategories as well. Tags are meant to describe specific details of your posts. Think of these as your site's index words. They are microdata that you can use to microcategorize your content, and they don't belong in a hierarchy. For example, if you have a personal blog where you write about your life, your categories could be something like music, food, books, etc. Now, when you write a post about something you ate, you'd put it under food. That would be the category. Now you can add tags like pizza, pasta, steak, etc. One of the biggest differences between tags and categories is that you must categorize your posts. If you don't categorize your post, it automatically goes under the uncategorized category that's automatically built into WordPress. Now you can rename that uncategorized category, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. You'll do that here on the back end by coming down to Settings, Writing, and up here you see Default Post Category. It's uncategorized. You could change it to if you had an umbrella category. That way, if you forget to categorize your post when you're inputting it, at least it will have a category rather than uncategorized. If you make changes here, you need to click Save Changes. Now, to create categories, you just hover over posts and you'll notice categories and tags are both on here. One way that you can add categories is by clicking here, giving it a name, a slug, which is the URL-friendly version of the name, a parent category if you want it to be in a hierarchy, and a description, and then you would add category. It's important when you're planning out your website to take a few minutes to think about all of the blog posts you're going to write and maybe some major categories that they would fall under. And you can go back to the earlier lesson that was called Getting Started, and that one actually has a content calendar for you to use, and it can kind of help you map that out. There isn't a specific optimal number of categories. It varies based on the complexity of your site. But for the sake of structure and usability, I think it's best to use subcategories. So going back to this one example we looked at, this website, my website, has been around for a little bit longer, so I have a lot more content. So I actually have subcategories. And here's an example. Some of these are just blog posts, but some of them, like essential gear, it's a subcategory. And then you see all these posts underneath it. Or living in an RV, same thing. It's a subcategory. And all of these fall underneath it. Now, like I said, these right here across the top, the way that you see your categories are actually menus. So let me show you how to create some menus with subcategories and your blog posts underneath them. One more way to create categories is actually within the post itself. If you're editing a post, or even creating a new post, and you come over here to the document section, you might recall categories was here. And you could even add a new category if you wanted to. And if you selected more than one category for a post, you just simply have to select which one is the primary category. And here's why. When you go on the front end of the website, in addition to having a drop-down menu with the different posts, typically most themes will also allow you to select just a category. If you select a category, there'll be a list of all of the blog posts under that category. Now, what the actual layout is depends upon your theme, but here's an example. The great thing about this is that it gives people different ways to find your content. So now let's look at how to create these menus. We're going back. There's two different ways again. So this is back on the dashboard. Come down to Appearance on your left side navigation toolbar and you'll see menus. Here are add menu items and here are menu structures. So we're using what's called a top bar menu, if you recall. And you'll see here that we have these categories and then it says category here and it says post next to it. Now, I like using it here on the back end because I can do it right after I've created a blog post or even a new category, and it's right here where I'm already working. So if you were going to add a category to these already existing ones, in yours, the first time you look at it, this would probably all be blank, is you'd come over here, and here you have posts, custom links, and categories. Now you had to have created the category. And remember, that's done by up here in posts categories or when you're actually in the post editor itself. But once you've created a category, they'll come up right here. So all you would do is click it and say add to menu, and I'll show you what happens. Now you notice I had already had it on here, but by clicking it and adding it to menu, here it is again. So now you can just click on it and drag it and move it wherever you want. Now I'm going to remove this one because I already have it, remember. Now, what about if you wanted to have a subcategory? You would just do the same thing. Pick it from your menu. You would call it a category. It's not called a subcategory, but here's how you do it. You add that, and if you want it to be a subcategory, you click it, bring it to where you want it, and just drag it over a little bit. Now I'm going to remove it because I already have that one. But here's something I don't have. We just published a new blog post that is not yet showing on my menus. So I come here to Post, Most Recent, I click that, and I say Add to Menu. Now it's all the way down here. So where do I want to put it? I don't have a category called Fitness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it under Fun. And I can put it wherever I want. I just go alphanumeric. So that's why I'm putting it up at the top. So you notice with the menu, you have categories, you have posts, and even down here, we have pages. And again, this is a primary menu. So I'm going to save my changes, and then we're going to go on the front end and see what it looks like. And I'll show you the alternate method. So here, under Fun, my 5K, Frugal, Fitness, and Fun has already been added. Now that was just to add it to the menu. It wasn't to add it to the category. That would have automatically been there just because of the fact that I gave it that category. Now another way to do your menus is from the front end. And you simply click Customize. If you look, here's one called Menus. And right now I have the top bar, which is the primary menu. And here you can see the same thing that we saw on the back end. And you can drag and drop and move things away this way as well. The only difference is it doesn't have that list of my most recent posts or my most recent categories and things like that. So it's a little bit trickier to work from on the front end for menu bars specifically. I didn't make any changes, so I can go ahead and X out. Now the last thing were the tags. You can create tags here. I don't do that because tags to me are more specific to the actual post. So I do them within a post. When I'm actually first creating the post is when I will come up with my tags typically. So here when I'm in the post, over here on the document toolbar, come down here and here's where we added our tags. Another thing that you can do when you're looking at your post list, if you went through here and you saw one that didn't have any tags, or maybe it was missing a tag that you wanted to use, you could do a quick edit and you can add tags that way just by using a comma to separate them. So those are a couple of different ways to use categories and tags and menu bars to organize your content to allow your audience to find it.